Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We've got another news roundup video in store for you today. We're going to be talking all about Chelsea's triumph in the Super Cup last night. We're going to be talking about the Aaron Ramsdale saga. Will he be joining Arsenal? Is that move now definitely off? We'll talk all about that as well. We're also going to be talking about the one in, one out thing at Liverpool. Could a player be leaving Liverpool, but could also a player be joining the Reds very soon? We'll talk all about that situation. And we're also going to be talking about a new defender seemingly imminently walking through the door at the King Power Stadium this summer for Leicester. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe for both things always and probably be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get back to talking about some of the biggest news headlines from the world of football, beginning with Chelsea and their triumph last night in the Super Cup. Yeah, so last night the Super Cup took place between Chelsea and Villarreal, and it was Chelsea who emerged victorious. They kicked off their competitive campaign with a penalty shootout victory over the Spanish side in the Super Cup. The competition, which of course brings last year's winners of both the Champions League and the Europa League together to play against, who was literally the kings of Europe, I guess. Brought together a bit of a back and forth encounter. Hakim Ziyech put Chelsea in the lead in the first half before he was unfortunately taken off due to injury. Fingers crossed it's nothing major or nothing serious for the winger, although it didn't look too great when he came off the pitch. But in the second half, Gerard Moreno for Villarreal, for Unai Emery's side, equalised to set up an interesting finale. The game went right the way through to a penalty shootout from that point on, with Blues manager Thomas Tuchel making a very interesting call, to say the least, to substitute goalkeeper Edouard Mendy, who had played the game, and brought on Kepa Arrizabalaga in his place just before the penalty shootout was set to be taking place. Kepa was in goal for the penalties, and he actually emerged as the hero of last night as he helped Chelsea win the game, win the shootout 6-5 on penalties, with Kepa saving 2 Villarreal spot kicks. The Blues triumph, they pick up more silverware, a great boost for their confidence and a great start to their season ahead of the forthcoming campaign. For our next story, it's one of the most bizarre ones of this summer, maybe one of the most bizarre in transfer history. Help me somebody try and wrap my head around this deal, because I don't personally get it. I doubt even Arsenal fans get it, to be honest. But the story about Aaron Ramsdale and a link to Arsenal Football Club. Now, I understand that this story isn't exactly hot off the presses. This story isn't exactly new. This story isn't exactly fresh. We've known about this story. There's been rumours and reports linking these two names together for some time. We know that Arsenal, of course, want a goalkeeper to provide competition for Bert Leno. But all summer long, we've been hearing that Arsenal have been pursuing this deal. They've wanted Aaron Ramsdale. Please, for the life of me, someone explain this story to me, because I am baffled by it all. For those that haven't been following this story from the beginning, let me just run by it, recap. Sheffield United have already allegedly rejected 2 bids from Arsenal for the goalkeeper, and told Arsenal earlier this summer that a £35 million price tag had been placed on his head. Over the past couple of days, it's been written that Arsenal have made another bid for the goalkeeper, a fee in the region of £30 million. The structure of the deal is said to be that Arsenal will pay £24 million up front and give £6 million in add-ons when obviously the time comes about, which again has been rejected by the Blades. What I don't get is why Aaron Ramsdale, without sounding too horrible or too harsh on him, he didn't exactly cover himself in much glory last season for a Sheffield United side that were rock bottom of the Premier League. In those kind of situations, you can at least claim that maybe, oh, this player or this player maybe covered themselves in a bit of glory and maybe worth keeping an eye on for a possible transfer to stay in the Premier League kind of thing. Ramsdale for Sheffield United, in my opinion, wasn't one of them. But for 35 million though, that just seems a bit excessive. But Arsenal kept on pursuing this deal. And not only that, But when you consider that hindsight, I get it, is a wonderful thing. You knew exactly what Emi Martinez was bringing to the table. You knew exactly what he brought to that squad when, of course, he played in the absence of Bernd Leno at the end of, not last season, but, of course, the season before when Leno was injured. You knew what he brought to the table, and you decided to get rid of him for a fee believed to be in the region of £20 million, which, of course, is 10 million less than the goalkeeper you're now pursuing, or the bid that you put in for the goalkeeper you're now pursuing, who I would strongly argue Martinez is better than Ramsdale. Explain this one to me, because I'm baffled by it. I don't get it. But then in a sort of anticlimactic end to this story, it's being said that Arsenal have now completely pulled out of this deal after finding no breakthrough in the negotiations process with United after they stayed firm on the asking price. I would say that Arsenal have dodged a bit of a bullet here, but this has been a completely mental sort of car crash of a story, this one. Like I say, Arsenal, go and find your alternative goalkeepers. This has been mental, in my opinion. A complete car crash, complete train wreck, whatever you want to call it. Move on. Next, we come to Liverpool's Xherdan Shaqiri. Could it be very close to joining French side Lyon? The Swiss winger has been on the verge of leaving Liverpool all summer after coming out himself and stating that he would like to move on from the club. He would like to seek new challenges elsewhere. Earlier in this transfer window, it was being said that Liverpool had put a £12 to £15 million price tag on the 29-year-old, and that Serie A looked like his likely destination to be playing his football for next season, with both Napoli and Lazio reportedly interested in signing him, but those stories cooled down rather quickly. Instead, over the past couple of days or so, Shaqiri and a move to Lyon have been building up a lot of momentum. And according to Fabrizio Romano, everything is seemingly in place to make this move happen. Personal terms and contracts have been agreed and stuff like that. Shaqiri is said to be signing it until 2024 if this move does go ahead. Shaqiri is very open to a move to France. The only thing that is standing in the way of making this deal possible is both clubs agreeing a fee for the Swiss winger. Lyon are offering €6 million plus add-ons for him, but Liverpool are said to be wanting more. A deal is more likely to be achieved here, but we wait and see on the future of one Xherdan Shaqiri. And our next story kind of ties into the Shaqiri thing, because if Shaqiri does end up leaving, that could open the door for Liverpool to make a move in this transfer window. The Reds haven't exactly been as active as they have been in previous years in recent transfer windows. Just the one new addition to their squad in the form of Ibrahima Konate, who arrived at Anfield very early on in the summer, very early in the transfer window. And what followed was several new contract renewals for key players within the Liverpool squad. It was being said throughout this entire transfer window that Liverpool would need to shift a few players on before they could possibly spend some money this summer. And with Shaqiri leaving and a few others that are left before him, will that now happen? Will Liverpool finally spend some more money in this transfer window? Well, reports over the past 24 hours or so suggest that that very much could be on the cards for the Reds going forward, as the snowballing story here says that Liverpool are working on a deal to bring Jeremy Doku to Anfield. The Belgian winger had a very impressive European Championships with Belgium, in which he turned some heads during that tournament, but the 19-year-old has said to be a long-term target by the Reds anyway, and this isn't just a spur-of-the-moment thing, that they saw him play very well in the Euros and have decided to try and pursue this deal. It does seem the kind of deal that Liverpool love to have here, a young player that the club can help grow and evolve further. And although the fee for the 19-year-old might be pretty hefty, all things considered for his age and stuff, personal terms wise, it would suit Liverpool down to the ground, you'd imagine, unlike the Saul Niguez deal, which seems to have everything going for it, but the major stumbling block does appear to be that personal terms would be the main issue because of wages and stuff like that Saul Niguez would demand. So that seems to have hit a major stumbling block there. But the Jeremy Doku situation does seem to be a deal that Liverpool would love and very well could get over the line if Liverpool are genuinely serious about it. But we're waiting to see first if Liverpool can get Shaqiri out the door, and then we're waiting to see where this story goes from here. But this is a story that is worth keeping an eye on going forward. And for our final story, we come to Leicester, who have agreed a fee for defender Yannick Vestergaard. He is on the verge of joining Leicester City, arriving at the King Power Stadium this summer, in a move that has come seemingly due to the injury that occurred to Wesley Fofana in pre-season. Leicester are closing in on signing Southampton defender Yannick Vestergaard. The young French centre-back, of course, suffered a horrible and a huge setback in pre-season when he got injured in a friendly, ruling him out for the long term. And that has caused the Foxes to change their transfer activity, change their transfer plans somewhat to react to this event occurring. And they've identified their target in Danish defender Vestergaard. Reports coming out over the past couple of days also have suggested that Leicester and Southampton have agreed a £15 million deal for the 29-year-old. In my opinion, very good signing this one. He's a very, 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 very tall defender, to say the least, with a big aerial presence that I'm sure will be a welcome addition to the Foxes in both sets of penalty areas. Like I say, very good signing in my opinion. I think given that Leicester obviously have had to react to such a horrible thing happening to them, and obviously happening to Fofana as well, I think it's a very decent replacement as far as they're concerned. And I think it's good that both sets of teams have kind of worked together very well on this to get this deal sort of done swiftly and smoothly. And hopefully now they can get it across the finish line, so to speak. Get this done, dusted and confirmed, made official, however you want to put it. And that Vestergaard will officially be unveiled as a Leicester player very, very soon. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think on any of the news stories that I've covered in this video. What do you make of Chelsea winning the Super Cup last night? What do you make of the Aaron Ramsdale and Arsenal saga and situation? Be interesting to get your thoughts on that one. What do you make of Shaqiri possibly very much on the verge of leaving Liverpool very, very soon? What do you make of Liverpool going after Jeremy Doku? And of course, what do you make of Yannick Vestergaard on the verge of joining Leicester City? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section on any of these stories, because I'm sure they will all make interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see and speak to you all again soon in another video.